AG the Dad. And guess what, everybody? You guys are tuning in because you too love shit talking Sundays. And every day is shit talking Sundays. And today just happens to be in the light of a warrior with MS Warrior. You know what? You guys know the routine. If you guys have been watching this since day one, my loyal fans, you already know. It's right in, no playing around. So let's just jump right in. But before we do, I need you to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button. And if you don't do any of those, then, just leave, because you're actually, you're being greedy and you're not sharing this information with anybody else. So let's just bring her in. MS Warrior, what's going on?
Hey. Oh, security. Yeah. Evening, guys. Evening. How is everybody doing out there? How are you, AG the Dad? And how is your security? I see your security's fine, right? So, hey guys, what's up? Happy evening. Okay, you already know. Disclaimer. Anything I say tonight on this podcast about me and my journey on Kissimmee with any medications, it is solely what my medical team has put on board for me. And I am not a doctor. I would never push off that advice to you guys to take what I'm taking. So I'm not a medical doctor, nor am I giving you medical advice. If you feel you are in need and you're having a health emergency, 911, reach out to family and friends and let them know your situation. Okay. So always do that. Always. And always check with your doctors before you take anything, because what's good for me may not be good for you. What's good for you may not be good for me. Right? Okay, guys. Well, I hope everybody has had a terrific week since I seen you last, right? So, About me, I did post a little video the other day that you guys know that I started having an allergic reaction to God knows what. Um, and thank God it's nothing that I ate, because from what the doctor says, you would my body would be, bumps everywhere or specific places, not just isolated like they are. Um, I don't know what the frig is going on. Everything, and it's topical. Something I've used in my hair, makeup, perfume, lotion, um, something that I put on from here up, and my back of my neck, across my shoulders, up into my scalp. I had it across my forehead here. It was bad. That's seeming to really subsiding really good. I had little tiny bumps, knots around my hairline and my hair. Itchy as heck. I was thinking, what the frick did I catch and where? Of course, that's the first thing you think, like, damn, where have I been? Um, so I am going through that. Like right now, I just want to just tear the back of my neck off, because it's so itchy, so irritating. But the doctor did give me some cream to use. That really works. As soon as I put it on, it stops. But I'm literally, guys, riddled from, well, it's in my scalp too, not so bad, but my neck all the way down to here across is just beep, 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 beep. Like, just, yeah. Phew. But, and it's irritating. But when this started happening, it took days to come to fruition like it is now. It started with a couple little bumps in my scalp, and we get little pimple bumps on our hairline and stuff like that. I have hot flashes, so I was thinking, okay, got a little bump from sweat or something, but it just kept evolving. And I was like, you know what? I feel fine. I don't feel sick or anything. Hey, son, welcome, welcome in tonight's show. Um, I feel fine. Um, Other than, just when you're really, really itchy, if you guys have had a rash of some sort, or even a mosquito bite that is just, you know, really, really itchy, like on the back of my neck, up into the back of my hair and across my shoulders. My neck is pretty lumped up pretty bad right now. Um, the doctor did take pictures of it, and I've compared the pictures from today, and it still looks the same, but it looks like they're drying up a little bit. So the only thing is new. About 3 weeks ago, I bought some Bath and Body, and I had only been using it, on my arms, legs, stuff like that. But I remember one night after a shower, I wiped it across my face and down the back of my neck. I don't know if that did it. I had been using it for 3 weeks prior, and I didn't have no reaction. But who knows? That could have been it. It could have been perfume. And as you guys know, well, if you don't know, with our system, and I don't think not just with us, us warriors, with anyone, you can wear anything one day, then the next day put it on, and your body react different. So it's one of those things like, okay, I I could have been using something for a year straight, like my hair spray. I use herbal essence, or I'll switch off and use Pantene. Pantene always was my fave. And so switching back and forth, who knows from what I'm being told. And so they gave me some cream, and I had to go get some, and it was prescribed. That works terrific for about an hour. And I have to take Allegra twice a day, of course, because that's like a Benadryl, and it stops. the itching and stuff like that. It calms that down. And I bought calamine. The doctor said, get some calamine because I can only use the cream twice a day. So I do the calamine lotion in between, the hours during the daytime, since I can only use the good stuff twice. That really works. But I don't know. And this has been already a week. And what I know and what I'm learning from my MS system is that MS can put your system into overdrive at any given time, behind any given anything. Okay. So I noticed over the last couple years, and this has been since I was diagnosed with MS. Before then, I never had bumpy skin. My skin, I'm one of those people that when I use soap, my face acts up. Just to use water on my face, I'm good to go. Like my face is smooth, clear. I don't bump up nothing, and that's been throughout my whole life. When I use products, my skin gets to doing weird stuff. You would figure, okay, if I'm not washing my face with any type of product and just moisturizing it, shouldn't I break out or, grease, oil, clog my pores and bam, a big old zit or something? But no, I am totally growing up thus far since before the diagnosis. It's always been that way. I never really had to use anything on my skin. Um, since MS, I've noticed my forehead mainly is like a friggin' alligator skin. Like it's not smooth anymore at all, to say the least. It is not, it's not. And that bothers me so bad. But um what I notice since the diagnosis is that my skin has changed, and it's almost like it is so sensitive to anything. And washing, since I've been diagnosed, I get bumps. I've used a wide variety of face products and everything. And even with the take out the dyes, the perfumes stuff, to no prevail. I get irritation on here in front of my ears, down my jawline. I get little tiny bumps. My face, since MS, doesn't like nothing on it. Nothing that cleans my face, I should say. Nothing at all. So, um, this, what's going on is kind of my MS system saying, hey, you irritated me, and now I am going to irritate you. I have washed my hair. You can see my hair, it's just naturally dried. It's not flat ironed, it's not curled up. I have no product in it. I just showered and braided it. So while this is gonna while this is going on, I'm going to try and refrain from putting any product on my scalp, my face, and see what let this totally, you know, uh, dissipate itself, do something, go away, poof, be gone. Um, your visit is no longer welcome. But I think, and from reading, you know, our system isn't normal anymore, with the MS, and mine is showing it. And like doctors have told me, and what I've read, that just because something hasn't bothered you before, every time we ingest or use something, it could almost react like the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes the first time of something, that you've tried to eat something and either you get itchy, across your chest or your throat gets scratchy or whatever, then oh, that gave me some type of reaction. I'm not gonna try that anymore. That would be the same thing with some lotions or perfumes or anything like that. Years ago. Wait, I may have put too many years on that because, you know, but years ago, I had to stop using perfume, and this was way before my diagnosis. I had to stop using cologne that had a high alcohol content because it gave me migraines. Every time I sprayed it, that was a trigger, you know, and come to find, if you guys maybe not know anything about migraines, but I know a little bit and know someone who suffers from migraines. Well, actually, two people, and there's triggers with um, for people who suffer with migraines. So that kind of now later down in my life found out, okay, that's why really the I couldn't deal with too much of a high alcohol content um in what I used. It was a trigger. So, but got that's over long done, and I think I've just and over the years now I use any perfume and it doesn't bother me or anything until this popped up, um and it seems like, go figure, when my body gets warmer, it irritates that my bumps, and then it gets all itchy to hell. It's like, and of course, I'm trying not to scratch. I have fingernails, and because I don't want to scar myself, and I don't want to make things worse. I don't want to cause myself an infection, from the dirt, dirty fingernails. So I'm trying to be really, really careful. But I notice right when I wake up and I touch my neck, they're kind of level. But soon as I wake up, and my body starts to warm up, they're just boop, 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 boop everywhere. And then that's when I just like throw the cream and take the Allegra and just, deal with it basically. So, um, that's what I'm going through. I'm glad that it's not affecting any of my daily symptoms of multiple sclerosis. Thank God for that. That my system isn't showing any other signs of that this is bothering, or that's caused whatever's caused this, bothered my other symptoms at all. So pretty much no. But I don't know. I get a burning sensation though with this rash, and I don't know if that's I don't know if that's the bumps itself causing that irritation, or the sensitivity from, to my skin, which causes the nerve damage, causes my skin. Like warriors, you guys know, if we touch cold water, it feels like ice. If we touch warm water, it feels like we're being burned. So the left side of my body is really kooky crazy on the sensitivity things, to touch. Um, so um I if you guys see me, keep looking over to the right. I have wrote down a lot of things that I wanted to talk about on today's show that um resonates with me, that I can share with you guys my experience with these on these topics. And sometimes they're just like random, but it also has to do with how my body perceives things with me having multiple sclerosis, and how my body deals with um, certain things, it just in daily in life, and things that catch me like, oh my God, like the fun facts and stuff like that. I have one for you tonight. So how common is MS? Does anybody wonder? Does anybody know? You know, Nowadays it's more coming to the forefront on TV. Medications are have evolved greatly back in the olden days, to diagnose someone with multiple sclerosis, they would submerge them in hot water and for so long, and then take them out of that tub and wait for the symptoms to occur. And then they would pinpoint, oh, you've got MS, you know, and it really, so is that what they had? Poor people back then, we've come a long way, right? So, um, thank God we have the knowledge and the technology today to treat one accordingly as, um, as them being a human being. I can imagine being submerged in hot water and causing those reactions that MS does from the heat, because you guys know heat is our enemy. And I miss the sun. I love the sun. Um, During the summer, every now and then I would go outside and just put my face up to the sun and feel the heat on my face. I love the heat. All my life I grew up in the sun swimming. Um, we My mom's family owned an island. You could only get there by boat. We drive out there. Of course, my father would be driving the boat, and we'd be out there days during summertime. I love the heat. When I was a teenager, we always had a pool. I would just bake out in the sun. Um, yeah, I loved it. The fishing from sun up to sundown and just staying out, not even looking or providing myself with shade because I loved it. I would be beet red and just stayed there all day and just was loving life. Um, MS has taken that from me. Are we all adults in here? Somebody give me a wave. Are we all adults in the podcast tonight? Okay. Well, nobody has said no. So I'm gonna say, fuck you, MS. I'm mad you took my heat from me. Um, I took my sun, my privileges, my sun. Yeah, so I miss basking in the sun that I love so much. So but here I am, with multiple sclerosis, like many of you watching tonight. We've, you know, if that wasn't one of the enough, MS can, attack and take away a lot of our abilities just, in our daily, that we never thought that in our life, probably into our diagnosis of that happening, that we considered like, I can't take that for granted. When something strikes in your life that reels you back in and makes you think like, gee, I took that, um something so big but so small, because we pay nothing for that. And I'm going to call it a commodity because um we I live in California, and California is known for what? It's sunshine, right? So, um, yeah, so that makes you think like, gee, something that is free and it's given all over the world and it's taken from me. It's a big thing, I miss that big time, in my life. Um, so that's so let me get back to how common is MS. Okay, MS is the most common progressive neurological disease in young adults worldwide. In the United States, um, there are 300,000 to 400,000 American adults stricken with multiple sclerosis. Okay, if you don't know, then you don't know. If you don't read and get in touch and educate yourself, um, you may find yourself sometimes with no answers, and you'll be puzzled and you'll be stumped, and you may not know how to react or to how to deal with something that arises in your life with the MS. But education is key, guys. You're your own dictionary, basically, you know. So um I love doing reads on my disease. It helps me understand the life now that I'm living with multiple sclerosis, and it gives me the best tools and the best steering wheel that I could possibly have to drive this journey. So, um, I'm loving that. I have become such more of a, let me say, a bookworm, but I'll say phone worm, because everything I do, I read it is through my phone and stuff. And even if I had the books, I probably wouldn't read them. It's just just to me, it's quicker to visually see it or hear it, have an audio, you know, book and reads. I have bought oh, what is the doctor's name who was stricken with multiple sclerosis, and they've written a book, and her name is just gone from my memory bank right now. But any hoot, so um, I have read that and have taken into account some things in that book and have researched it and to be true. In fact, you know, with other reads and stuff like that, true sources. You know, I should say the resources that are true and not fake or false, you know, that type of thing. Okay, so done with the fun fact. So for me, I was yesterday years old. You know that saying that people didn't know, like some hacks, and then you find it or you look it or you see it and you'd be like, dang, I didn't know that either. Well, yesterday I was yesterday's old when I stumbled across, um, I didn't know treatments and therapies were different. Do you guys? Did you? Do you? Somebody say something, because I didn't. And I'm almost a little embarrassed to admit that. I mean, you know, I'm in my 50s. You guys know how old I am, so I don't have to say. But I was like, what? I was like, I don't know everything, but shit, I should have known that. So, and that brought me to educating myself. And I'm glad I ran across it because it was in a read, and I was like, say what? And um, I was like, okay, therapy, treatment, where do they differ? Okay. Oh, what they do greatly. Okay, so treatments are a medication that suppresses the immune system. Well, that's, I shouldn't say all. Let me back up, because not every treatment suppresses our immune system for our warriors who are on a disease modifying treatment, abbreviated to DMT. Okay, because I have been on other disease modifying treatments that didn't suppress my immune system. Okay, if you guys, my viewers, who aren't stricken and don't know what suppressing means, the immune system, when I say that, for those of us warriors like myself who are on a DMT, like Kesimpta is one of them, that suppresses my immune system. That means that that medication stops my T and B cells. That's part of my immune system. That's what puts it a halt to it, and it stops attacking my nerves. That's what's called multiple sclerosis. Okay. So that medication suppresses my immune system. Okay. So I have been on another DMT called Copaxone for 3 years, that, and it was injection 7 days a week. It did not suppress my immune system. Okay. So I didn't have to worry about so much, even though I still took precautions about being around sick people and, um, along that line, because I still had a working functioning uh, immune system. Okay, but the medication I'm on now, Kesimpta, it suppresses it. So it stops that immune system from attacking my own body, my own nerve system. So that makes me more vulnerable to someone who is sick, flus, infections. Um, we have in our body, you know, chickenpox that lies dormant. Okay, everyone has this in them. It's not just people stricken with multiple sclerosis. This is in everyone's body. Even hepatitis. There's some others that this medication I'm on can reactivate these things in my body. So we're more susceptible for things like that, and just more susceptible to germs out there. So of course, and I don't know, I don't like my shirt the way it's looking. So of course during this pandemic, I've taken um so many precautions. I mean, I even kept some family members away, and had told the younger, generation of people that would come over, if you're going to be partying with other people, drinking and smoking off people, please don't come by my house. I mean, I went to that full extent, and I honestly, I made people. I had to give people choices. Okay, so if you want to come by and be here and visit people that are here, that live here, you have to choose. you know, even the people that lived under my roof, unfortunately, I had to give them choices. Either stay home or go stay somewhere else during the pandemic, because um, I was scared, of course, at that time, that coming on and not knowing. Of course, no one knows if they catch COVID, um, how they're gonna recover. So I just went all full-fledged, all out in the beginning, and some people may not had agreed to my logic, or in my logic to protecting myself. But hey, we got over it, and it's what, 2.5 years later, so um and it's funny is because some of those people have caught in COVID. Me, never. So um and I can't apologize. I shouldn't have to, or I don't feel I owe any apology for that, because if somebody told me that, I would be like, "Yes, protect yourself." If one of my friends or family members had multiple sclerosis and it wasn't me, and they had to protect themselves, I'd be like, "At all cost, by all means." Yes, definitely. Do what you feel in your heart that you need to do, and that still applies. That still applies right now, and we're 2.5 years in. Um so, and then now even more so, we have to protect my father, who is here. He's been here during the pandemic. He doesn't go out or he doesn't do anything. He's um 82 years old. And as you guys know, because I shared this with you, my father was just diagnosed with cancer this month. And so it's even more important, for me to keep my house germ free. We have grandkids that we raise, and of course, if and they're in school, if they come down with the sniffles, by all means, I have an arsenal to keep my house clean. The kids will wear a mask. They will not be visiting granddad, and uh, you know, stuff like that. So, um, it's how you choose to protect you and yours. There shouldn't be no qualms about it, you know what I mean? So, um, it is what it is, guys. So, but anyhow, so let me get back on this treatment therapy thing that I did not know until yesterday that they were different. Shame on me, right? But so treatments are and this is goes across the board. This isn't just for your girl. This is for my son. This is for Stephanie. This is for AG. This is for his son, his mom. This is for all of us. Know your differences because you may be not getting what you think of full taking full advantage of your health and your progress if you don't know what from what. Okay. I just learned that yesterday, as I keep saying. I can't believe that I didn't know this, guys. Like seriously. Um, Me who thinks I know it all? Hmm, yeah, I don't. But treatments are for let me speak on multiple sclerosis with treatments because that I'm A1 student at that. So, and if you are diabetic, if you have high blood pressure, then this goes for everyone, but you know your treatments. If you whatever illness or chronic illness that you have, um, then you'll know what is your treatment options and what are your therapy options. Like now, I know mine's. Okay, so of course I knew what my treatments are. Okay, um, and which for MS they're so widespread. We have a wide variety to choose from infusions to injections. Infusions and injections are two different things. Infusions, you go to a cancer center and you um, are there. They administer, put on board pre-meds it's if you need them. And you stay at that center forever how long, and they watch over you while you get the infusion. And injections are that you're able to do at home and be administered by yourself, okay, or at home like I am. um Hopingly, and these medications have different side effects. They're not the same. Not all of them are the same. um and for different the medications that are available for us, they're accordingly to what ms you have. Okay. Primary, progressive, remitting, relapsing MS. That's me. So there's four. So depends on where you're at on the totem pole with multiple sclerosis. Then your doctor will know which medication to prescribe to you, and of course you'll be doing the research to say yay or nay or what's plan B. You a handful of orals to choose from. Once you do that research and know, hey, I'm comfortable with taking this but not this, and this one, these are my choices. So um it's definitely at your hands on your treatment, according to which where you're at with your disease. But again, still, you have you have options. Okay. And then there's the oral. So you have infusions, you have injections. That's what I do once a month. And you have the oral medication. Okay. um and of course, there's always a holistic approach. That's for those who, of course, believe in the holistic healing approach. Me, myself, um, I don't know enough about it to jump on that bandwagon. Um, so I, at one point, weren't on any DMT, and due to pandemic and this medication suppressing my immune system, I didn't take on the other half of the holistic approach. They do a lot of herbs and um, stuff like that. So I didn't adventure down that path at that point. but I end up getting a new lesion within 8 months of me being off my medication, and that was during a switch. Actually, um, I my system got MS got active and started wreaking havoc. Yeah, so never again. And I felt good during that 8 months, and I was thinking, okay, am I getting to the point to where my immune system is slowing down? If you guys don't know, just in general, not for us with MS, but even a healthy individual, as we get into our 60s, close to 60, in our 60s, our immune system slows down from what I've researched. And when I chose to wait, I didn't get off my med purposely or anything. I had a bad reaction and it was time to switch. I waited to switch to what I am on now because of the pandemic, not because of the pandemic, but because of COVID. It suppresses my immune system. I was afraid to shut my immune system down during a time that I had never experienced before in my life. So it was a lot going on for me and I felt good. I protected myself, but guess what? That wasn't enough. And I can tell you now, because of nobody wants a new lesion, of course, right, guys? Nobody wants that. That's the last thing that a warrior would say is, yeah, I want that. No. And for those reasons, I will never stop a DMT again and not, if I have to ever stop Kesimpta, I will be right on the next train researching, getting my blood work done to know what I'm a candidate for. That's another thing too. You have to be a candidate for some of the meds. You can't have heart issues with some. You can't have fatty liver disease with one. So each medication you have to fall into a category, and your doctor knows all the right tests to give you to determine what medication is the best for you and your type of multiple sclerosis. So that's the medications part. Um, my treatment is a chemo drug, but given to individuals that are stricken with cancer, but given to warriors in a lower dose. You know, that's what the medication I'm on is. It is under the chemotherapy bracket that's administered here at home. So, you know, um, I'm very fortunate, very blessed to be able to be on this medication. This medication is very pricey. Um, it's, I believe, 8 grand for one pre-filled injection, and it's no cost to myself at all. So I'm very fortunate to be able to have that option for the Kesimpta, let alone be a candidate for it, because not everybody can be put on Kesimpta. So I thank the Lord for my blessings every day, many times a day, guys. So um, so I've told you about treatments, my treatment, and the next one is steroids. Okay. If you are a warrior, you probably have been treated with solumedrol for a relapse and possibly um, another steroid in a pill form for a relapse, and maybe sent home from the hospital on the pill form. Um, And also, some warriors are on a regimen of steroids. I am not. Thank mercy. Uh, Lord, thank you for keeping me out of that zone to where I don't need um, that steroid regimen every day. Jeez, because I steroids make you, now you guys know, and my watchers out there, you guys know, and you guys probably heard, steroids are something else to take and be on. The side effects, how they make you feel, but yet they have a positive effect on the other hand. Frick no. Man, guys, I on a relapse, I was sent home with steroids, the oral form. I just knew I was being poisoned. At that same time, and I've mentioned this before, at that same time, um, it caused, I say it, I don't know to blame the steroids for this, but I had always been healthy. Never I had no problems with my spleen. Ever, 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 never, ever did I. But during this course, I was on 44, yes, 4 steroid pills a day. hmm My pharmacist questioned that prescription. They called me. They didn't want to fill it until they spoke to the doctor at the hospital. They called me back. They said, "Well, yep, this doctor said yes." And okay, so um I was on some other stuff. I had thrush from the medications. So I had to swish this crap. My tongue was fluffy, furry. It was a horrible time, guys. And on top of that, to say the least, a blood clot in my spleen developed. At this, all this at the same time. Relapse, fluffy tongue, um, steroid. I wanted to jump out the window. The side effects, my skin was burning, it was crawling. I was a freaking wreck. I think this is one of the times it could have been. I haven't had too many times. I know one, guys, I didn't want to be here anymore, and that could have been the time that I was at the hospital and came home. I just knew I was being poisoned. I felt like I was dying. I hope I never ever feel that feeling again. And if I ever do, I'm fighting like hell. I'm I will fight it. I will pull myself out of that. Like with I no. Mm-mm. But anyhow, so um the steroids, I don't have to be on a daily steroid treatment. Thank you, Lord. Glory to Him for keeping me off steroids. I have multiple times had been given solumedrol, and that's an intravenous steroid that only can be administered in the hospital or at a cancer center treatment center. Okay, it's only in 1,000 milligrams. You can't get it watered down. You have to, and it's a drip for an hour. For it used to be 5 days. Now it's cut down to three days. I've had 3 days. I have sent home and had to go back 2 days later because it wasn't doing nothing. Then they started treatment all over again. Lucky me. Um, the solumedrol, my body does really well to it. Yes, I have some side effects. Um, and I've had it multiple times. The last 3 times that well, let's backtrack three times back when I had a relapse or a flare. I had some activity on my brain. Um, they gave me solumedrol, and it's an hour drip at 1,000 milligram. My heart started doing kooky stuff, so they had to stop it, right? And check on EKG they gave me and some other test, and was like, okay. And I said, just slow it to 2 hours. Don't rush and give me that whole for an hour because my system didn't want it. My heart didn't want that steroid. So now each time I go, when I have to go, I always remember to tell them, please don't set up for one. My doctor always understands. They're like, sure, we can do 2 or 3 if you'd like. I always opt out for whatever the longest is. Hey, let's do it. So and now that I have been there on a relapse for treatment, and they say, well, we could let you go home. You'll have to come back every day, every 24 hours to get your full treatment. So I'm like, okay, hey, let's do it. So I have done that before. So I didn't have to stay And that's only happened one time. Every other time they're like, we have to admit you because of this and that. And I'm like, oh shoot, but when I'm in a relapse or a flare, best believe that's the first place I want to be. I don't want to be out anywhere else. I want to be there receiving doctor care and my treatment. That way I can get back on the good foot, guys. Right? So, it's one of those things, darn if you do and darn if you don't. But yes, I have had the intravenous treatment of solumedrol, and I have experienced the other steroids, the oral, the pill, but never put on a regimen. And also once before, since my blood clot problem, and it dissolved itself before I left the hospital. I was admitted, and it was there. They did CT scan and all that good stuff, and it was there. And by the time I left there, it had dissolved itself. But go figure, I stopped all the meds. So who knows? But that the my doctors in the hospital that I go to, it's the one that I always go to, so they have all my history. My kids were even born there. So um one doctor before, a ER doctor, tried to send me home on oral prednisone. I said, no, nope, nope, nope. I won't take it. You need to look at my chart. You need to call my neurologist because they don't prescribe this to me. I won't take it. So you have another way of treating me. I don't care if you admit me. I don't care if I have to come back every 24 hours for the next 3 to 5 days. So be it. But I will not, you will not. This spleen will never ever see another oral steroid treatment, anything. So so that's with the treatment part of this whole. Yes, I was yesterday's old when I found this out. So therapies are, and you guys probably know this. So why somebody didn't knock on my door and be like, hey, did you know treatments and therapies what you think? There's no. So but anyhow, um therapies are counseling, support groups, acupuncture, and physical therapy. Okay, PT. I don't know about you, but I've had a couple of those. Okay. So, and not knowing that was therapy, I always said treatment. Oh, I'm going to physical therapy treatment. They treating me for my MS. So, but I guess um, the right way of saying that is therapy and then treatment. Okay. So actually, counseling is always a great resource. I've never had counseling, but if I ever needed, I wouldn't be afraid to get the counseling. Um, especially when it comes to my disease. I think um I my problems with MS and just things when as things aren't going good or whatever, I get counseling all the time. I talk to my son and every day, and that's my counseling right there. He may not know it, and he's not a licensed professional, but that's my son. He's that's my counseling. That's my therapist. That's my feel good doctor. And also, I have a great support system at home, so I get all the good therapy that I need. I would know when I need it professionally or not, or my support system thus far has been enough. Believe you me, enough. Um, so, um, but I do advise anyone who doesn't have that great support system and you need some medical and professional advice, please reach out to your insurance company and or your doctor and get some counseling. It may be just what the doctor ordered for you. Um, and support groups. I love, 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 love my support groups because, and anyone out there, and you don't have to be sick, but if you are sick and with chronic illness, such as us warriors, and it doesn't have to be MS, you could have diabetes, high blood pressure. You could have gait problems. You can um, be a quadriplegic. Anything under a health issue umbrella. Um, the support groups are wonderful. I have learned so much and have been in touch with other warriors like myself that I can relate to, that can relate to me. And I've gotten so much support, and they probably didn't even know it and recognize it. But comments, sharing, comparing support is key, really. So I turned to that when I was diagnosed, and I needed to know how others were dealing and coping and what it was doing to their how in comparison was I going to be afflicted? How was multiple sclerosis going to affect me? Even though we are all are unique, we still share things in common with multiple sclerosis. So I advise anyone, please, 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 reach out on social media. They're everywhere. The multiple sclerosis communities are huge. They're across the world everywhere. Um, no one is alone dealing with multiple sclerosis. You are not alone. I am not alone. And it's so helpful, resourceful. People have always shared um, resources. You know, you can get on there and just mention slightly something and just know that there's going to be a handful of warriors that are going to rush to your aid. It's almost like if you've got doctors and counselors and colleagues that you never knew you had. So it's so resourceful, um, and just even on a mental, emotional level, to be able to share your experience and see someone else's and be there for someone who is stricken worsely than yourself. And that reels you in, and that gives you hope and motivation. You know, I talk to so many women that are bedbound, and um, I'm no different, just because I'm not bedbound, but I'm not different at all because I have multiple sclerosis. We just have different afflictions. And there could be something that I can say to her that is going to change her thinking that day, her spirit, her heart, just as well as she could do mine. It doesn't matter if I'm still able to walk. We're still afflicted daily in different ways, and we're like a sister warrior sisterhood and a warrior brotherhood. Um, and that is just it's comforting to know, even though this is an illness, you know, that is incurable. So we need each other on those, you know, those levels. It definitely makes a difference. It gives motivation and hope, and and love. You know, there's people literally have your back on there emotionally, you know, through rough times. So definitely, guys, um, get into a support group. It's all that. It's vital. Um, so, and then the acupuncture. I wanted acupuncture for some swelling that never goes away. And then I started researching it, and then I was like, no, I'm good. Um, I don't want to make my situation worse. I did have some needles across my back before and up into my scalp, and it threw me, and they were injections, and it threw me into a relapse. Like within 4 days after those injections, I was in the hospital. So um, that them needles and up into my scalp, and the I hadn't been letting this neurologist do this to that extent, and she always said, you know, this problem is not going to go away because you won't let me fully treat you. And I said, well, just treat me halfway. This is all I want. I didn't want needles up in my head. Well, this got pretty bad. I was suffering every day in pain. Nothing was taking it away. And I was suffering. I couldn't lift my arms. I couldn't even still steer a bowl of mayonnaise. That's how much in pain I was. I couldn't use my arms. Um, so I gave in, let her do it. And I know I've shared this with you guys before. And yeah, so I let her go up in my scalp area, and never again did I let anybody do that to me. Okay. So it did help here. It took a few days, but then it calmed everything down. It just for about a week, and then it was right back, again. So I started reading about the acupuncture, and it says, it has some little side effects, and anything nerve wise, I don't want to fool with because of my past experiences. When my nerves get messed with, when something new is in my system and affects my nerves, my body has a fucking tizzy. Yeah, my MS doesn't know how to act sometimes, like for real, for real. And I'm like, okay, so don't do this, don't do that, don't cry. Your head is going to hurt really bad. I mean, you know, and I know all of us warriors, we have our certain things that we know that we can't do. Certain things in our body and stuff, we know how it's going to react. How our body, how our MS is going to act to it. It's like almost if I have someone else living inside of my body that doesn't like certain things, and then they get mad when I do it and wreak havoc on me. So I'm like, okay, I'll never do that again. So I'm leery about stuff like that. But I would love the acupuncture just on my skin. The prickly pain thing, I like, but acupuncture, I'm going to stay away from for those reasons. So if any of my viewers tonight have had acupuncture, please drop some comments down below and let me know how you were affected and stuff on it. How did it work for you and stuff like that. So the last one was physical therapy, um, on the list of therapies that I didn't know were treatments. Okay. I was yesterday's old, guys, when I learned this. So physical therapy is crucial. You guys know when you have a relapse or a flare, how it affects our mobility. The hospital doctors will send you do some therapy if you're in the hospital, which I have had done. I worked with my fingers, and look, I still have my pen handy because when this hand gets to burning and acting like it doesn't belong to me, I remind it. And you're supposed to take something with different sensations that to give you different sensations. So this is soft and squishy. So I have burning sensations on my fingers, guys, 24/7 if I touch something. So I will give my hand some therapy, and then I'll take something that's a little bit more prickly, like a pin, and I will prick my skin because it gives it sensations. It brings those feelings back to your hand, and it helps your hand recover. I do cool things, warm things. My kids used to do hand therapy with me and stuff like that. In my kitchen, I will stand in front of my sink and hold on to it, and I do little leg bends on it and stuff like that. So physical therapy is key, and I've learned and have gotten so many tools to learn. I mean, to that I learned in physical therapy that I have done at home still to this day. So physical therapy, you can really learn a lot, and it helps to get those parts of your body moving that is so vital to you to stay out of a wheelchair. So, yes, don't be afraid to go to physical therapy, guys, and do it. You'll learn so much and still practice those treatments at home. Stay up on your game, right? Stay up on your game, because if you don't take care of you, who will? So, and also when you with physical therapy, before you have a relapse or a flare, where your status is at with your mobility, your speech, just in general, your overall body performance, that's called baseline. If you didn't know, you always hope and pray, and you got to work. to come back to baseline before that flare or relapse, you can possibly not come back to baseline. Your new baseline may be, I can't lift my right hand, or I can't lift a spoon to feed myself. So physical therapy, your treatments, all that plays a big role in your outcome of coming off of a relapse and a flare. Yes, your mind, your brain, your disease has a lot to do with it, but our brain is miraculously, and our limbs too. If we keep telling our brain, move that left hand, and you keep moving, you're going to make progress. I did. My hand was clenched closed, guys. I had a claw. Okay. When my attack happened, when I was in the hospital on my relapse the first time, I looked like I had a stroke. My hand was like this, and it was clenched to my body. I worked on it. They worked on it. And yes, I have deficits, but look, I worked on it. I worked on it. And the brain is a good thing. Tell your brain, I want to keep moving. I need to keep moving. And you do the work on yourself and make things happen. Bring your body back to where it needs to be. And that is called baseline. Okay. We don't want to lose our baseline where we were. We don't want it to get worse. We want it. And they say usually you come to baseline, but you don't get better. I don't believe that. Your body and your brain, of course, miraculous thing. Our body and stuff does wonders. So you work on it, you do your necessary steps, and stay in tune with yourself. Don't let MS consume your body. Don't let it consume, because it will. You've got to believe in yourself to keep this disease at bay, and to keep strong and keep fighting. Okay, so guys, the last one, and this will be my show for the night, um, is self care. Okay. Well, actually, physical exercise. Let me get this one out of the way first, because self care is a little bit more personal for me. So I'm going to save my best one for last. Plus physical exercise. Everyone knows physical exercise, and it's almost like the thing with physical therapy. Your body needs to stay moving, even if you don't have multiple sclerosis. We know if we don't keep moving our muscles, they're going to get weak. We're going to lose muscle mass. So physical therapy, physical exercise, you're walking, you're standing, you're bending. You MS attacks our muscles and makes us weak. So it's harder for us to keep that strength. So we have to work a little bit harder at it. So it's always to keep that body moving. I lift half gallons and gallons of milk in my refrigerator. I used to go to the refrigerator on purpose and do my exercises with my milk. So, yeah, so there's little things you could incorporate that you don't have to go out of your way. You don't have to go buy weights. You don't have to make this big old thing. Lift your speaker at home. Lift your speaker. Anything to keep your muscles moving. Put on your heaviest tennis shoes, or if you're wearing tennis shoes, that day, because now the weather's starting to we're coming into winter. Do a few leg lifts on the side of your bed before you take your tennis shoes off. Mind you, I have some heavy ass tennis shoes, and yesterday I wore them for the first time, and I was like, oh man, or I forgot how heavy they were, but I was like, I felt like I was a clown. I was clunking around. I was like, damn, these tennis shoes are heavy. Cute shoes. They're my Airs, but they're freaking heavy. Ugh, especially coming off of chanclas all summer. Sheesh. So that's my exercise. Okay, those are vital. Those are important. Okay, the last one, guys, and look, I have a whole page, but I won't do that to you. Okay, so self-care. That's that's key for me, because the mind and the self-love for someone with stricken with MS is everything, because it changes the way you look. You gain weight. Steroids treatments make you gain weight, make you blow up, change your appearance. You may not feel as strong as you were, because you can't walk as far as you can. You have to sit down a lot. You may not feel as beautiful. You may feel that you can't put on them heels. That's me. And because I trip, I'm off balance, so I'm afraid to wear them, because I don't want to get hurt, but I still want to look feminine. I want to look cute. Still, MS will not take that from me, and it shouldn't take it from you guys. Love myself enough to fight back, refresh my looks when stepping out, hair and makeup, etc., my clothes. Look good, feel better. Trying new things, even foods, something simple as foods. Don't give up being you because of your multiple sclerosis. Activities, try, be a part of. Whatever it may be for you, it might be riding your bike. It could be anything. It could be buying a new book that your bestie swears by. It's the little things that make you happy that you have to incorporate in your life with multiple sclerosis. Okay. Um, never settle in losing yourself. Okay. Your parents have always taught us when we're growing up and maybe young and had our first heartbreak and stuff. They say never lose yourself, always love yourself and continue to be happy. We only have multiple sclerosis. Our life, we're still living it. It's changed, yes, but we're still here. We're still human. I still want to be happy. People around me make me happy. I have to make myself happy with living with the disease. So I will know, and I'm closing tonight on this statement, and you guys remember this. Staying relevant to yourself is everlasting. Remember that. All right, guys, that's my time. And I'm going to close out with that before I start boohooing. Um, I send all my warriors tonight with good vibes as always. And don't forget, you guys, please comment, like, share, subscribe. I can't reach further warriors without your help. Okay. So please take the time out to do such. It's free. And why wouldn't you do it for me? Right? So, hey guys, have a good night and a better tomorrow. Warrior, gone. Good night. Thank you, AG, always for your skills and your time. You're so appreciated over here with your warrior girl. Take care.
It's all good. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everybody out there. So you heard it from her, the MS Warrior. She gave you a little insight information on her in her life with MS and the processes that she's using. Remember, if you have a medical emergency, call 911, consult your doctor before you try anything that you hear here, because we are not responsible. This was just her journey, is her journey. And also, if you don't have your legacy in order and you need some life insurance, hit the description link down below for AG Life Agency, and someone will get back to you with a free quote. All right. I'm AG the Dad. This Shit Talking Sundays in the light of a warrior. Everybody be blessed, and we will catch you next week. Same time, same place. 6:30. Yeah. 6 on Tuesdays. Be blessed, y'all. I'm out. Peace.